Salli ala nabiyyina Salli ala Muhammadin Salli ala nabiyyina Salli Salli ala habibina Salli ala Muhammadin Salli ala
The next item we have now, before we will take comments from all our invited guests, will be a short lecture on Hazrat Khalid ibn Waleed and Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib, the two pious examples of Taqwa and dedication. And the person that is going to facilitate this for us is Mukarram, Syed, Athar, Mahmud Sahib, Muballigh, Silsila, Ijebu. He is our Maulvi at Ijebu, coordinating about 3 circuits all together there. Maulvi Sahib. Welcome.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثلة من الأولين وثلة من الآخرين. A large party from the early Muslims and a large party from the later ones. Surah Al-Waqi'ah, chapter 56, verse 40-41. قال الله رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أصحابي كالنجوم فبأيهم اقتديتم اهتديتم. مشكاة المصابيح. My companions are like stars, whomsoever among them you will follow, you will attain guidance. Respected Amir Sahib, all the dignitaries on the stage, and my esteemed listeners, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today this humble one stands before you to speak about 2 pious personalities who achieved the highest position of piety and taqwa and dedicated their whole lives in the way of Allah the Almighty to serve His religion. Both were trained by the prophets of their time, and that's why both are the pure and pious examples for us. One of them is Sahabi Rasul Hazrat Khatamun Nabiyyin Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And the second one is Sahabi Hazrat Masih Ma'ud wa Mahdi Ma'ud alayhi salatu wassalam, Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Dear listeners, Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed was born in a highly respected family of Banu Makhzum of tribe of Quraysh in Makkah in nearly 585 AD. His folks were one of the three primary people of his clan and were also in charge of the matters related to the battles. That is why he grew up as having finest skills and abilities of warfare, and later earned the recognition of being one of the best commander known in the history. His father Waleed bin Mughira was famous poet and was among the richest men in Makkah. He was cousin of Hazrat Umarradhi ta'ala anhu, the second righteous Caliph of Islam, and both share similar physical appearance. Right from the early age, Hazrat Khalid bin Waleedرضي ta'ala anhu was sent to the Bedouins in a barren region as a family tradition to learn on his own. He mastered many of the battling professions like using sword, spike, bow and spear, etc., and became a qualified warrior. He was tall with broad shoulders and was bodily very strong. He was also considered to be one of the best wrestlers of his time. At first, he was among the worst enemies of Islam, but later converted to Islam because of his awareness and conscience. He never lost a battle as a Muslim. Hazrat Khalid bin Waleedرضي ta'ala anhu had not accepted the message of Allah the Almighty until after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah between Medinans and the Makkans that occurred in 628 AD. It is said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his brother that a brave and intelligent man like him should not keep himself away from uprightness for so long. So, when his brother told Hazrat Khalid through a letter, he was swayed towards this kind gesture of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and decided to embrace the Islam. In 629 AD, Hazrat Khalid bin Waleedرضي ta'ala anhu set out for Medina to join the Muslims officially. On his way, he came across two other new rivers, Hazrat Amr bin al-As and Usman bin Talha radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. On their arrival in the holy city, they went straight to the house of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw them, he said to the Sahabas, "Ramatkum Makkata bi aflaze kabadiha." That is, Makkah threw you the pieces of its liver. It means that Makkah has presented you her most precious sons. After that, three of them took the oath on the blessed hand of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed asked Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to pray for his all wrongdoings and fighting against the Muslim in the past, upon which he was assured of his forgiveness by Allah the Almighty as he had accepted Islam. In Hazrat Khalid bin Waleedرضي ta'ala anhu, Muslim attained one of the best commanders and the strategists in the battlefield. He got best great honor in the form of very first dream come true opportunity to be among the rank of Muslim army as a result of their first clash with Byzantine armed force, being a Muslim in the Mauta. Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered them to save the fresh embraces of Islam from the anguish of their disbeliever rulers. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had appointed three commanders who were well known for their battling skills in order to lead Muslims into Syria. Muslims were outnumbered against the multitude of Byzantines. Soon the three chief officers as appointed by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam martyred, and the Muslim flag was about to fall on the ground surface. still Hazrat Sabit bin al-Arqam managed to save it from falling, who decided to make Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed the leader of the believers because of his increased wisdom and familiarity with the matters related to the warfare. Due to extreme difficulty in matching the great number of disbelievers, it apparently seemed to be the time for Muslims to retreat. But Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed stood firm, and through his tactical mind, he rearranged the Muslims' army to fight from rear to front so as to cast fear in hearts of the infidels that disciples of Islam were still many in quantity. Eventually, it was due to his amazing strategic abilities that the Muslim managed to defeat a grand army of Byzantine in that epic battle of Mota. Upon hearing the news of this great victory, through the revelation, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed his companions about the death of 3 chiefs. At the same time, he also gave the title of Saifullah, meaning sword of Allah, to Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala anhu because of his valor and gallantry in the front line. Soon after the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, under the caliphate of first Khalifa, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, many people refused to pay zakat, and some went too far in claiming the false prophethood like Musailama. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq foresaw a major crisis among the believers and decided to fight against the transgressors. Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed was given the task of finding and killing Musailama, who had formed a large army of his own against the Muslims. At first, many Muslims were martyred, but due to the conscience of Saifullah in battle, he climbed on a nearby hill, studied the situation, regrouped his force, and Muslims ended up killing Musailama and defeating his armed forces. The second most distinguished contribution of Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed under the Caliphate Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq is release the Iraqis from torture of their unjust and disbelieving Persian rulers. At first, Sadiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu had appointed 2 leaders, Hazrat Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah and Amr bin al-As radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, and sent them to conquer Roman territories. But after knowing about the high number of Romans awaiting them, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu told Hazrat Khalid to go and take charge there instead. Hazrat Khalid knew that it would be make things distasteful if he had taken authority in place of former 2 appointees. Therefore, he opted for rotating the power among 3 for the sake of equal share. After devising a careful plan, Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed was able to overcome the Roman despite being better equipped and greater in quantity than the Muslims. After the demise of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, the second righteous Caliph, Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, decided to make Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah the leader of the Muslims army instead of Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed. The second Caliph exceeded in justice to such a high extent that he felt inappropriate to keep employing Hazrat Khalid as a commander, as both were cousins. And even the Muslims and some other non-Muslim, they were believing that the Muslims' victories are due to Khalid bin Waleed. But we all know, and that is our belief, that all the victories were due to the Allah the Almighty. My dear listener, that was the level of taqwa that he did not question about this decision, and he left his post. In short, Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was one of the righteous companions of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He truly earned the designation of Sword of Allah, from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he never feared in battle zone and went on to win fights against disbelievers for uplifting the name of Islam in an empathetic manner. He also received countless wounds on his body as a result of saving the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also in all the battles. He died naturally in around 642 in Syria at the age of almost 57. Dear listeners, it was the wish of Hazrat Khalid bin Waleed radiyallahu ta'ala anhu to be martyred in the way of Allah. But because he was given the title Saifullah, Sword of Allah, and Sword of Allah was not meant to be broken. Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, "What a marvelous person is this man of God. O people of Quraysh, your line attacked a lion and entered its den and defeated it. Now, women are unable to produce a hero like Khalid." Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that there is a crack in the wall of Islam that will never fail. Hazrat Mahmud alayhi salatu wassalam said about the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allahumma fasalli alayhi wasallam wa alihi al-mutahharin at-tayyibin wa ashabihi allazina hum asudu mawatin an-nahari wa ruhbanul layali wa najumud din radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. Hence, O God, send peace and blessings upon the Holy Prophet and those who are his followers, who are pious and righteous, and upon his companions, who are lions of the fields during the day and the hermits during the night, and they are stars of the faith. God is pleased with all of them. My dear listeners, now the other personality I am going to talk about is Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. It is a great honor for me, but not an easy task by any means, to talk about this very unique personality, because once Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wassalam himself mentioned about him, he said, he is a well-known member of our Jamaat and is a pious and able young man, and we cannot find words to describe all his qualities. Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq was born on 11th of January 1872 in Bhera. Mufti Sadiq Sahib, he has great opportunities to serve, and he was so fortunate that he served in the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wassalam, and in the life of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu as well. In the time of the Prophet sallallahu, once Bishop George Alfred Lefroy gave a public lecture in Lahore, Living Messenger and Innocent Prophet, on 18th of May 1900. The public was given the opportunity to ask the question about the speech. Hazrat Mufti Sahib stood and rendered the bishop speechless. The Archbishop of Lahore arranged a public lecture, wrote a fifth article, and on the request of Hazrat Mufti Sahib, that was read by with great enthusiasm to the audience after Bishop's lecture. The city of Lahore was echoed with the slogans of Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest, God is the greatest by the Muslims. The bishop was overwhelmed and said, "My addresses are for other Muslims only. You are an Ahmadi and I will not talk to you." At the time when the book Minanur Rahman, the bounties of the gracious God, was being composed by the Prophet Messiah alayhi salatu wassalam, he also learned enough Hebrew from a Jewish scholar at Lahore to prepare a list of words for Hazur to provide proof that Hebrew also had its origin in Arabic language. He also researched the Hebrew Bible to identify the prophecies related to the advent of the Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Mufti Sadiq was deeply committed to spreading the truth right from the beginning. He started propagation of Islam in 1900 through letter writing to the famous personalities in the time in England, America, Japan, etc. Once he became very ill and his mother requested to Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wassalam for his recovery. Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam said, I always pray for him. You think you love Sadiq because he is dear to you as a son, but I can claim that I love him more than you do. We all know he worked as a missionary in England and America. He was the first missionary in America. Mufti Sadiq Sahib left for England on 10th of March 1917 as a missionary. He remained involved in the propagation of Islam during his voyage. He reached London on 17th of April 1917 and joined Qazi Muhammad Abdullah, who was already active in spreading the message of Islam. When Hazrat Mufti Sadiq Sahib in England, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu directed him to establish the first Ahmadiyya mission in America. Mufti Sahib sailed from England on 26th of January 1920 and reached Philadelphia in the second week of February. The immigration department did not allow him to enter in the USA on ground that he was not allowed to preach the message of God. He faced the whole situation with great courage and patience and filed an appeal to the Department of Justice in Washington for entry. He also informed Khalifatul Masih Sani, who prophesied that America cannot stop and will not stop entry into the country to establish our mission. Mufti Sahib's appeal was granted due to the prayers of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani. Hazrat Mufti Sahib, once he narrated that I requested Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wassalam that I want to do the BA exam. Hazrat said, Mufti Sahib, you don't need for the degrees. Allah will give you the degrees. While staying in America, he was conferred so many degrees, and one was a distinguished that Doctor of Divinity, which was not given before any non-Christian before the Mufti Sahib. I want to finish my speech because of the time on the sayings of the Prophet, promised Messiah alayhi salatu wassalam. He said, I see a remarkable change in thousands of my followers and consider them far superior in faith than those who followed Moses in this lifetime. Their faces reflect the light of the faith of the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It would be very unusual for my companions not to achieve spiritual heights. I know it is a miracle that my Jamaat excels in piety and spiritual progress. मसीह वक्त अब दुनिया में आया, खुदा ने अहद का है दिन दिखाया, मुबारक वो जो अब ईमान लाया, सहाबा से मिला जब मुझको पाया, वही मैं उनको साकी ने पिला दी, फसुबहानल्लज़ी अख़ज़ल आदी. Messiah of the time has now come to the world. God has shown the day of the covenant. Blessed is he who believes right now, for he joins the Sahaba when he meets me. The wine tenders serve them the same wine. So holy is he, Allah the Almighty, who brings disgrace to my enemies. May Allah enable all of us to follow the real teachings of Islam and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So may Allah also count us in the followers of true Ahmadi Muslims. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
القرآن محمد رسول الله مرزا غلام احمد کی مرزا غلام احمد کی انسانیت